So, why do most wealth plans break when life gets complicated? Well, most plans look good on paper, right up until life gets messy. Let's take divorce, health issues, business volatility, career shifts. You know, that's when most plans can quietly break. And the reason they break, it's almost got nothing to do with the market. Here's where I'm coming from. I try to be real with people, whether you're in my network or you're not. I really don't like theory that only works on spreadsheets. I care about real life. So I'm going to tell it to you straight. My family, we learned this the hard way because at one time when I was in the executive space, we had advisors. We checked in once a year, sometimes twice. We let our first advisor go because it was just so surface level. We would never get into anything worthwhile. And then we thought, well, let's get a much better firm. So we go to one of the hottest firms in Tampa, big name, downtown, very impressive office. Guess what? Still felt transactional. We still stayed on the surface. So I'd come prepared with spreadsheets that outline our expenses, our goals, all of it. But there was no real process to know our life, no depth, no embedded understanding, no sense that this was a long term partnership. And here's the real uncomfortable truth with this stuff: no advisor can really understand your life in a 1 hour meeting once or twice a year. Now, I'm talking specifically to people who carry out responsibility. Let's say executives, business owners, physicians, people with high stakes jobs. Strong leaders don't get to say, this feels heavy, so I think I'll just ignore it. Responsibility just doesn't work that way. Here's where I see people getting tripped up all the time. They just attack one lane. They try to handle one thing. Let's take an example like we'll pour everything into a 401k. Well, that's fine. We're building something. That's good, I should say. It's not fine, but it's good. But what about everything else? So executives, especially, they rely so much on the employer systems, the 401k, the benefits, the disability coverage, sometimes a pension, rare, but sometimes stock compensation. There's no backup though. I see this constantly. A couple other things: minimum life insurance, no long-term care planning, don't even know what it is. Disability is tied entirely to employment. And if they have stock options like ISOs or NSOs, there's no integrated tax strategy associated here. What if there's an old K from a prior job? Sometimes it's just sitting out there, not because people are irresponsible. They may just not know what to do with it and may not know what kind of advantages could be held if we take some action with it. So the complexity of these types of things, it generally causes avoidance. So here's the part that people don't really realize until it's too late. Markets don't cause most long-term failures. Human behavior under pressure does. When life changes suddenly, people ask, what should I touch? Where should I take the money? What am I allowed to do without penalties? And if you don't already know the answers, then panic starts to set in and fill the gap. Let's pick on life insurance for a second. I'll say this carefully because I'm not giving advice here. Life insurance is one of the most misunderstood tools for high earners. And the number one thing that people say to me over and over after they understand how they could implement a strategy is this: how did I not know this before? The answer is simple. Some strategies are pretty complicated. They require someone to sit with you and teach you. They require discipline. Some only make sense when you look at the whole picture. And most people never stay in the game long enough to even understand them. So the opportunity isn't in chasing the biggest return. The opportunity is durability. A real wealth plan is not about just maximizing the performance. It's about preserving good decisions under pressure. It's about knowing, hey, if tomorrow something changes, I already know where I land. The decisions are already made. The structure's already in play. So the people that we're working with, they don't ask, hey, Trav, what's the best product? They ask, is this thing still going to work if life doesn't cooperate? That's a different planning conversation. And most people don't realize that they're missing it until life forces the issue upon them. So if your wealth plan only works when life is going perfectly, then it just means it's unfinished. If this way of thinking resonates, click the subscribe. We're going to keep building on this.